for joining us on Earth File. I am Ayala Kasim. The United Nations has designated the first Monday of October of every year as World Habitat Day. The purpose of World Habitat Day is to reflect on the state of our towns and cities and on the basic right of all to adequate shelter. It is also intended to remind the world that we all have the power and responsibility to shape the future of our cities and towns. Mainly, the day is expected to remind all of the need to recognize the basic right of all humanity to adequate shelter and to encourage grassroots action toward ending poverty housing. This year's theme focuses on giving voice to people who have lived or live in vulnerable urban contexts. And so today on Earth File, we are exploring some of these areas. Stay with us.
More than 50% of the world's population lives in urban areas today. By 2050, about 70% of the world's population is expected to live in urban areas, and more than 60% of the land projected to become urban by 2030 is yet to be developed. 95% of urban expansion will take place in developing countries. With the world urban population estimated to increase from 3.9 billion today to 6.3 billion in 2050, urbanization poses both a challenge and an opportunity to sustainable development. Urban areas are faced with problems of unsustainable geographical expansion patterns, ineffective urban planning, governance and financing systems, inefficient resource use, poverty, inequalities and slums, as well as inadequate delivery of basic services. Just off the popular Ikorodu Road is the Owode Oniri community in Lagos, an area which suffers major flooding in 2010. Today the story is not different. To enter the community, you definitely need a pair of rain boots. And as we wade in puddles, mud and shallow waters, the suffering of the people here becomes more evident.
This is when we have the disaster, that the water flow out from the river. It has, been like this anytime there is a flood. This is where we experience it first. About 3 places like that. To the other ends. So we have a volume of water flowing into the estate.
Okay, so when it comes in like this, where does it go? It enters the community?
Yes, it enters into communities.
And where
then from the community to the canal. There is a canal on the road, to the other side.
One of the residents, Napoleon Agbahe, agreed to show us how he makes his trip home every day. We move through slippery and sometimes dangerous routes.
And you go through this every day?
That place they was now. That pantry, that is my road. Hey, easy. And I don't think you can enter that water, it's very deep. Why you are coming and you need to follow the other side? I won't plan for that people. I don't do anything.
So, is it like that or like this?
Straight.
To go straight?
We'll join another passport there. Can you do?
Which passport?
Go straight. I will not go too far.
It was at this point we decided to make our return journey, considering how dangerous going ahead can be. But to him and his neighbors, home is just a few steps ahead, and there is no need to be afraid.
I've been in this community for the past 8 years. And this water has been meeting me maybe, this is the third time that this kind of flood have met me here in this estate. It was as if something would come and carry me out of this place, because when the past experience I was having, I have to pack myself, my family, to uncompleted building and stay there until the flood goes. But this time when it comes, I have to say, where do I go? All the uncompleted buildings that I used to be, take my family to, they are all completed. Where do I go now? So I pick up, my wife said, okay, I should relocate my children. Then I have to go and rent a house for my children just far at Alagbado side. Then they all go there. Then I and my wife, we decided to stay. We were praying to God that this water should not enter inside. That is where we have problem. My grandchildren, the mother now relocate them to another school. It has been a terrible experience because myself, I am not fit in health. I have cough, I have heart problem. So whenever I'm going, I go with stick, very heavy stick. Then I will move. Anywhere the cough meet me, I have to stay. I will pull myself before start moving. And this affects me most now, as I am now. So it has been very good. My wife have not stepped in because out since since the water started, my wife is indoor. I always go home and bring something, go out and bring something for her to eat because I don't want her to be hot because of the water. The money I spend a day here, I spend almost 1,000 naira because when the flood now came, I could not move. Then the canoe that used to pick us in, it charged me more than extra charge to bring me in, especially when I come late 5 o'clock to the point. It charged me 500 naira to bring me in here.
Now there's no canoe. Now you have to be walking.
Yeah, so no canoe. So what I'm doing now, I provide myself the way out, just shortcuts so that I could be able to go out. This is why you see some of the Paco, I happen to build some of the Paco so that I can, the place that are bad, the Paco will help me out to a place that I can take my walk to the road.
Taking another long walk from Owodo-Oniri area, we arrive at Maidan Orile community. The story is very similar.
This is my Orile community. I'm Akintayo Akinbola. I didn't know that this place was is a troublesome because when we bought this place, it was so the ground was so plain, everything. But all of a sudden, we started seeing water coming from the water banks. We are far away. As you are here, we are about 3 streets away from the water bank of Maidan River. But whenever they open the dam from Ogun, maybe Oyo Dam or those, I don't know the dam. Whenever the bank, the river bank is overflowed, it flows down to us here. And the volume is always very high to the extent that it stays up to about 2 feet inside the house. So every year, you have to pack away. You have to pack away. Every August, November, that is how it used to be. That's what we have been solving. We've developed a lot of stress from this development. It's not easy to be packing away every year whenever there's heavy rains. So that's what we have been experiencing here. It has caused a lot of damage to my properties. I lost my 2 cars here because whenever this flood comes, where I'm going to park my car is the first thing. But there was a time the water will have to cover it up, and all of them have been disposed, damaged totally. So I don't have any car now, for now. So this is the problem we have been going through, especially in this community. In our community, we have been contributing some money to fill the road, the common road. the developments we have never made within ourselves, every house you see here, you have to start from 8 to 9 coaches. That house you see over there is about 10 coaches. And it almost covers it up. So you can see how high we have been trying our effort to make sure that water doesn't come. But this industrial opening of the dam, in fact, it is only the government that can help us. The individual effort cannot help. It's the young individual or community efforts.
This year, for how long have you been out?
I would say almost 2 months now. Almost 2 months. Since August. Since August. We started experiencing in the middle of August. And this is the end of October. So it's almost between 2.5 months or 2 months. That's how we have been suffering it for every year.
And do you consider going elsewhere?
Where? We don't have alternative. If there's an alternative, well, no problem. But there's not, which is my home. Or will I start discussing with those who don't, you know, this is the only place I have.
Are you thinking of buying another property elsewhere?
I don't even have the money. I don't even have the money as of today. I don't have that money. Land properties is not a common man's affair these days. It's millions. I don't have the means of getting another property. But if God helps, but this is the what I've been working for over when I was young. I bought it in 1983. And
what do you do?
I'm a technician. I repair nylon sealing machines. I build nylon sealing machines. And I produce nylon-related products.